To have with us the boys from Sweet Poison, Howard Jackson, Scott Phillips and Mick Graham.
Good evening.
Hi, fellas.
Hi.
And, well, I believe you're heading for Sydney very, very soon.
Yes, going home. We've been here for about 18 months now, so we planned originally to be here for about 8 weeks or 3 months, so it's very belated. We're sort of looking forward to it very much.
That's Howard talking to me at the moment. You and Scott are from Sydney.
That's right, yes.
Mm-hmm. And yes. What brought you to Hobart in Tasmania?
Well, to get the band together, really, to get away from Sydney for a little while, because we both had enough at that stage. Yeah, it just seemed like one of those long shots. It seemed like a silly enough thing to do at the time. I'd been here before, and I really liked the place, and it seemed like a good place to iron the bugs out of a new band, because we're doing all original music, and so it seemed like a good place to just see what we were going to do. Good place to test the audience too, because it's quite a hard audience here in Tasmania.
No doubt.
A little microcosm too. I mean, you have a lot of different sort of people within a small range, you know, whereas in Sydney a certain area has a certain type of music, whereas here it's although it's reasonably conservative, it has quite a large variety of people to look at.
And how did you come to meet up with Mick? You might answer that yourself, Mick.
Yeah, well, I was an art student, heaven forbid, and who knew a lady who knew these two guys, and then found out that they were in need of a bass player. They'd been
auditioned or had about 10 bass players, and Michael heard of it and wanted to join the band.
Plus I'd seen the band before on a few occasions.
And you haven't looked back?
No.
And you're all professional musicians now?
Yes. I've been a professional musician since I was about 17, I think.
And how old are you now?
26. God damn.
A young-looking 26.
Yeah, baby face.
And he's on crutches too.
Yes.
And what did you do?
Howard ran over my foot. Anyway, putting his foot in his mouth.
For those that haven't seen the group, Howard's guitar and vocals, Scott on drums and vocals, and Mick is on bass.
That's right. Yet to do vocals.
They haven't trained you to do any vocals, or don't they trust you, Mick?
Well, they have microphones, I think. He's been working too hard as it is. 2 weeks after he joined the band, we did a support with Kevin Borich, so he didn't have a lot of time to think about it.
Is the band as loud as that, Kevin Borich? Are you anywhere near as loud as Kevin?
No, he's extremely loud. I mean, he's probably one of the loudest bands around, I think, but we're still quite high energy sort of competitive loudness. And there's a lot of different rules, like in Sydney the bands were always very loud. I met Not Oil there, and they were unbelievable. When we actually first came here, we used to play probably, I don't know, maybe twice as loud as we play now. We had no understanding of the decibel range here, you know, like just people aren't used to really loud music. Like in Sydney, if you want to order a drink, you just put a finger up and they give you a beer, and if you want something more exotic, you go to a different bar. Whereas here, you know, like you have to keep it down a fair bit.
Who does all the writing for the group?
Howard does everything, all the writing.
Both the lyrics and the music?
Yeah.
What inspires you? Any particular inspirations, Howard?
Yeah, really, I suppose I just tried to live a life as a songwriter. I've always wanted to be a songwriter since I was a child, and I've sort of always worked in situations, like I worked for quite a long time in psychiatric hospitals, spent a bit of time in Asia, and moved around the country a great deal, just with a guitar for a long time, worked solo, and found that, maybe not inspiration, but certainly that lifestyle and looking at life at that angle gives the ideas for lyrics and the music.
Is there any type of music that has inspired the group? Any groups that you have?
No, that's the strange thing about Sweet Poison. The only thing that's ever inspired me is the music of Sweet Poison, and it hasn't got any influences at all. I can see influences now in records I hear, but they often come later after I've heard Sweet Poison. We've certainly got a wide variety and taste in the music we listen to ourselves. Like we're not avid fans of any particular band or any particular style. Like we like anything from jazz, maybe not to Robert Fripp to I certainly like musically orientated music. I'm not very much into the country and western, about the only form of music I don't like. We play a great variety of sort of music, although mostly it's Sweet Poison that has its own sound, but like if we may throw in a blues and people think, oh, a blues band, you know, because they hear that one song and they can therefore hang a label, but really we're not that classifiable, you know. We obviously play this sort of a rock and roll form, and it's modern music, but basically it's very high energy, and That's, you know, a lot of people get a lot from Sweet Poison because of the energy we give on stage, and I think that's a good thing for a performance, is to be able to give that energy, and people can get a lot out of just watching you, even if they don't feel like dancing, which is...
Yeah, we get all sorts of different people. We get a lot of people, say, from the uni who are into maybe the lyrical content, and then you get a lot of people who are just into the energy we create, you know. So we always get a really strange, like the audience is always very varied. We don't get one certain. We don't sort of get a new wave audience with everyone wearing the correct, you know, fashionable clothing. We'll get some portion of that, and we'll get some portion of the, you know, the guys are coming from their Harley Davidsons, and we might get some people from, you know, like who are just into lyrical content. It's strange.
Getting on to recording, have you got? Do you look like doing any recording in Sydney?
Yes, we do look like doing some, but we don't want to jump at it because it's a very hard decision to make with anything like that.
Yeah, festival has shown a great deal of interest, you know, to the stage where the A&R guy was going to fly down and see us. But we've since then told them we're going to be up there very soon, so they're just going to catch us up there. But they are really interested in a three-piece band too, because
we've got to wind it up now. But you might tell us when your final gigs are.
All right. Well, we're only in town for 4 more days, and that's the end of Sweet Poison for Tasmania completely.
So that's Red Lion tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night at the Globe.
That's right.
Saturday night, Red Lion.
Right.
With support band.
Yeah, we have a support band for that.
And with Mr. X at the Foreshore, the final farewell.
That's right.
On Sunday, and should be a real blowout.
Yeah,
I
it should be.
we hope. It's a big one, we hope.
Well, thanks for coming in, Howard.
Thanks very much.
Thank you very much,
Scott, and the very quiet Mick.
Yeah.
Didn't have much to say, but
he's like that on stage.
Good bass player. And I sincerely wish you all the very best in Sydney.
Oh,
and let's hope that you've got a record for us to play very soon.
We'll send one down to you.
Great. Thanks for coming in, Sweet Poison.
Okay.
Bye.
Long live music, HT music.